Hello and welcome to Media Dialogues with Storyboard 18. I am Delshad Irani and today I'm in conversation with Tariq Ahmed, who is the West India CEO for Prestige Group, one of the leading real estate developers in India. The luxury residential real estate market has been highly buoyant over the last couple of years as Indians redefine what luxury means to us. Tariq is here to share insights on the market and Prestige's own journey in different asset categories like residential, commercial, retail, and hospitality. So on that note, hello and welcome to the studio, Tariq. It's a pleasure to have you here with me today.
Thank you, Delshad. Nice to be here.
Let me jump straight into it and talk about, the Mumbai market, real estate market has been absolutely booming over the past few years.
Indeed.
It's, of course, very mature, very competitive. Now, for Prestige, very strong down south. Yeah. That's the stronghold. And then you enter the Mumbai market. I keep saying Bombay, but I should say Mumbai. You enter the Mumbai market in 2022. So tell me a little bit about your strategy coming into the market. What were some of the insights that were shaping your plans for Mumbai? Sure.
Thank you again for having me. So I think, I think I'll address it interchangeably as Mumbai and Bombay because I think I've grown up with the city being Bombay. The answer to actually how Prestige entered the Mumbai Western region has two parts to it. I think one is emotion and the other one is also fact. The emotion part, I think, talks more to the chairman's vision. So if you go back in media and pick up some stories, he always had this article going around about Mumbai dreams. So as he set up the platform of Prestige in the South in the 80s, and it grew. In around 2012, 13, 14, there was an article out where he talked about Bombay dreams and being there, which then connects to the objective fact, because the Western region, Mumbai market, is one of the largest, most vibrant markets of real estate in India. And for a leading player like ourselves, not being present here, and frankly, not being present in other larger markets which we've entered, like the North, probably was not sensible as we were looking to scale. So the journey to the West and Mumbai happened in that sense, where there was always a vision and a desire for the chairman to enter, and it was a market that was very large. And it so happened at the time of our entry that we were, as a group, capital rich, having sold several assets to a private equity firm. And around the time we entered, so we formally entered the market in 2022, but the work behind it started around 2018 and 19, where several players that had stretched balance sheets approached us. So I think it was a combination of strategy, being in the largest market, the emotion behind the chairman wanting to be here, and facts, which allowed us to actually enter 3 or 4 very large transactions at a time where we had balance sheet strength. And the final part of all of this is a vision for the group to be of a certain scale that you couldn't really achieve without either being here in the West or in Delhi. So I think it's a combination of all these factors that came into play. And that's how sort of we entered the market.
The financial capital of the country. You've of course, lived in Mumbai for 20 years now, Tariq. What's that emotion for you then? You spoke about the chairman's emotion and, the city of dreams. You came from Bangalore, you made Bombay your home. You've seen the city change in front of your eyes. The skyline is dramatically different from what it was 20 years ago. Now, of course, leading this development in the West, starting with Bombay. What's that emotion for you, perhaps?
So it's interesting because I always say this, I'm sort of accidental coming into real estate. I've been here for 20 years in Bombay and I've been someone on the finance side of it. I've lived overseas while I went to college and studied there. There's a brand there called the Related Group. So I've seen real estate in the manner that we are seeing today in India. So when I look at the emotion, I think Mumbai has the most amazing historical architecture. It's got the immense pulse of New York City and is now seeing the verticality. So when you think of the emotion around it and the passion for real estate, I think it's blending what Prestige brings. And I think what Prestige stands for is tremendous trust and execution, phenomenal quality of product, And then when you put it into Mumbai, it's the ability to provide that in terms of very high quality execution products and bringing that sort of Falcon life to Mumbai. And from my own personal sense, what excited me about that is starting a brand new platform. Having seen developments overseas, the sort of caliber of developments you could do, the amenities you could bring to bear, and marrying that with a base in Bombay which has immense purchasing power. Right. Obviously, we have products ranging from the sort of 2 to 3 CR, 30 CR plus. We have a wide variety of products for everyone. But bringing that quality of living and that sort of product, and you know, bringing that brand of prestige into Mumbai. And I think that was sort of what was the excitement to get started over here.
I'll come to, you know, talk about Prestige City in just a bit, but what you mentioned about trust and execution. Of course, in a space like real estate, you know, for instance, in the residential category, that trust, that emotion there is critical for the brand, for the business. Any thoughts on that? Any thoughts on how that has evolved with your customer, with your consumer?
I would say that's the cornerstone. I think it's a cornerstone for any consumer product. The trust factor as a consumer, you sort of gravitate to a brand that stands for that. Obviously, there's the appeal, there's the sort of luxury around it, etc. for any consumer brand. But I think for real estate, you'll hear the chairman speak a lot about this. Someone's putting their life saving into their home, right? They're either going to a bank and mortgaging 30 years of their earnings into a home. So what is your duty as a real estate developer to them? And I think for Prestige, that trust, that execution trust, the fact that you will have a home is, I think, the cornerstone and what we relentlessly believe in. If you look at the sort of 40 years we've been in business, we've done over 300 projects delivered to the consumer across good times and tough times. And we've somehow managed to make sure we get that delivered. And I think one thing we are very proud of is we're trying to finish projects on the residential side between 3 and 5 years. So if you look at the examples of the group in the south, largely where we've delivered, large-scale projects have gone through their challenges. But an example of Jindal City in Bangalore, through COVID, we delivered a project of 3,500 homes in 3 years to the consumer.
COVID years.
Through the COVID years. And I think that's something across time we've been very, very cautious about in terms of delivery and making sure we make sure that the brand prestige is sort of equivalent to trust. And I think that's very important to us.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more on that. Let's talk about Prestige City, Tariq.
Sure.
It's, of course, an integrated mixed-use development, which has done exceptionally well in Bangalore and Hyderabad as well, now in Bombay. Tell us a little bit more about that. What are your plans there?
Sure.
What are you doing differently, perhaps?
Sure. Absolutely. So the Prestige City brand is a brand of prestige which signifies an integrated township development at its broadest level. If you take that to Mumbai over here, we were very fortunate to get a phenomenal parcel of land in Mulund, right at the foothills of Yogi Hills, near the park. So the views from the entire development are fantastic, looking at the forest. It's a 36-acre parcel of land in which we have 3 phases of development. We've launched all 3. We have alongside, and I'll come back in a minute to the performance of those developments, but alongside that, we've got a school, we've got a hospital. We've actually announced association with the DPS brand. We're developing some retail and also an office building. Now, clearly, we're not the first developer to have done that. The person that's mastered the art here is obviously Mr. Hiranandani, on a much larger scale. But I think when we found this land parcel and when we looked at the micro market of Mulund, I think we're very unique and very fortunate to have found this and offering a consumer effectively a walk to work, walk to school, and a very large development, which is very much an oasis from the city at the foothills over there. And going back to the point of trust, the first phase over there called Siesta is actually going to be delivered to customers in 2025. So from 2022 to now, within 3 years, we've actually begun to complete and hand over to customers their first set of homes over there, so people can start experiencing the whole city. So I think that's sort of the whole USP of the project in terms of the land parcel, where it's located, and the different types of amenities we're offering there.
And I think also in many ways, the idea was ahead of its time as well. And I think it reflects the kind of change that we're seeing in consumers, right? Especially post-pandemic. The whole idea of a long commute, work-life balance, remote work.
Absolutely.
So I think that it reflects a lot of that. But coming to your point about micro markets, Tariq, that was very interesting. Tell me a little bit about any other markets that you're looking at in that sense, with that lens of a micro market to develop.
I'll give you a little bit of a snapshot, and I'll give you a sense of the journey we've traveled and what we're looking to do. So I think as a prestige group, we tend to serve micro markets and customer segments that span a broad range. So Mulund feeds very well into the micro market of our mid luxury segment, where product prices range all the way from about 2 CR all the way to about 8 CR within the prestige city over there. The other areas we're present in is sort of the luxury segment, which is in the town side of Mumbai, where we started with a project called Jasdan in Mahalakshmi, which was also launched around 2022 and will be delivered next year. And that's a project that's done extremely well for us, and as I said, is being delivered. Alongside that, there are other 2 luxury projects in town, Ocean Towers, which we launched last year, and has performed very well for us, having sold over 2,000 CR. And in light of that, we're launching another luxury project in Worli soon. And finally, in the luxury segment, we've got a project in Bandra that's within luxury. Our bread and butter tends to be, as I said, the mid and entry segment homes. And we've also bought a parcel of land in Mira Road, Dahisar, recently. So that's sort of the template of projects that we are taking on. We're taking on a mixed-use project again in Worli, and we'll be expanding into markets in Pune as well. So that's sort of the sense of markets and segments we're looking to play in.
Let's zoom in on a little bit more on, of course, the luxury space, the luxury market. You operate, like you said, in that sort of sweet spot in the luxury space, but also in uber luxury. Tell me a little bit about what are you getting from home buyers, residential property buyers today? What are their needs, wants, desires? We know we are growing in an aspirational world, in a new class of people, of course, yearning for that standard of living. How do you sort of feed that all into your strategies across the board?
I think over there are a couple of key elements, and I'll expand on it. I think all of them are looking for space. So I think one...
that's a luxury.
That's a luxury in and of itself. And that's really feeding into our product design. I'll just spend more time on that. People want space. They want spacious homes, spacious rooms. They are very keen to have open air decks and balconies that are extremely spacious. They want to gather with their friends when they're having a party outside, a deck with 30, 40 people with a bar set up. Within the home, when they're hanging out with their family, they want to be together, but yet have people have enough of their independent spaces. They want large kitchens. They want places for their staff. They want all of that. They want a lot of parking for their cars. So they want that sort of space is a very important part. They then want fabulous materials, right? So the type of stone, the sort of finishes in the bathrooms, and we as a developer tend to give finished apartments with these materials. So the type of materials that you use, and then design. So I think design and the sensibility that comes with the design, not just the way the building looks, but your arrival experience, how your lobbies are designed, and how well the space is used.
That
so
experience.
I would say the whole experience, just, very much understated luxury, may not need to be in your face, but I think the quality of materials, etc., is very important to them. But I think the center of it all is space. People are willing to spend for the space. On average, we're finding that people want homes in excess of 3,000 square feet, 4,000 square feet. You're seeing a very big trend where large joint families want to live together. So the space factor, again, becomes very important. They want to have contiguous units, so they're together, yet have their separate
space,
homes.
privacy, all of that, yes.
But let's also be honest, the other thing, people want bragging rights. They want the address, they want the view, they want the height in the building. So they want all of that. So I think for us, therefore, the premium on what address, where do you buy the product, what sort of views do you offer? So I think all of those become incredibly important. And I think these are the factors that are playing a role in people making decisions.
Hold on to that thought, Tariq, because we'll take a quick break and be right back to decode the new trends in India's luxury real estate market.